All right, we're recording.
Cool.
Hey, everybody. We are here with Alexander Craig, a musician and a friend, and a pretty cool guy. He's got a lot of things going on.
Hey, man.
He actually helped me with the settings here and some of the audio equipment. I appreciate that. And so he's got a record coming out, which I've listened to most of, possibly all, a couple of different venues and things that he's done.
Yep.
What was that? You were out in that pavilion the one time, and then he showed videos.
Oh, yeah. We did a music video, like what would you call it? A debut, like a music video debut at the park here in Anoka, George Green Park.
Yeah.
So Drew Peterson opened the show doing his one-man show,
Yep.
and then I played with my band for about an hour, I think, and then we showed a bunch of the old Crankshaft videos, and then final video that we showed was the Atmosphere We're Under video, which is on YouTube right now.
Cool. Yep. So Crankshaft is the old band. I like to joke that Alex is the artist formerly known as Crankshaft.
Yeah.
For a while, that was like bothering you for a little while, right?
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yeah, I would say it's like the persona thing kind of like ran its course, and like probably like the last year and a half that I was doing it, I wasn't super passionate about it.
Mm.
So it was time to move on from it.
Now, who's doing the writing for Crankshaft? Is it
Me.
usually you?
Yeah, all the writing and arranging was me. Some of the horn parts were co-arranged with Zach Lozier.
Okay.
But otherwise, all the instrumentation and everything, the arrangements were me doing the writing and the music.
Sure.
And then my band, they would come up with their parts or whatever and like accompany my arrangement, I guess.
Well, let's not talk about the bad. What was the good that got you started with Crankshaft? Was it?
I started performing at the Anoka Car Show. Doing the one-man band. I guess the whole idea of Crankshaft started out as a campfire, or bar napkin idea. I don't even remember what it was exactly, but it was like, I'm gonna call myself Crankshaft and go busk on.
No, that's a good name. What's a bar napkin?
Oh, like sometimes people will be hanging out at a bar and they'll like jot something down, like an idea on a bar napkin.
Yeah.
It was like that type of an idea, and anyway, it was just like, yeah, that would be hilarious to go down to the corner and do a street performance during the car show.
Oh yeah.
Like playing kick drum and snare drum and hi hat and guitar and singing, and then calling myself Crankshaft at a car show. It's just like a kitschy, like joke type thing. So
I wanted to ask, you've been doing actually videos and music videos for quite some time here.
Mm-hmm.
So you want to talk about that? Like, did you start playing when you were like 14, 13?
13 years old is when I got my first, maybe it was 12. However old I would have been at the end of 6th grade. So, yeah. I got
12.
Yeah, I think it was 12. Yeah. So I got my first electric guitar, and my brother got his first drum set, like really close to the same time period.
Yeah.
And we started playing music together, and we did. We were in a punk rock band called the Mojo Spleens.
Oh yeah.
It was a 2-piece like surf thrash band, like super aggressive surf music, and we did that for quite a while, and then I started doing the one-man band thing in 2008. So I think I was 25 then.
Okay.
And it, like I said, it kind of started out as like just a kitschy, like funny thing to do that I followed through with. Like I talked to Pete Turok at the Chamber of Commerce in Anoka here, because City of Anoka like runs the car show.
Yeah.
And I was like, hey man, can I like do street performing, at the car show? And he was like, well, it's not going to cost us any money, and it's free entertainment for the people. So yeah, for sure,
That
go for
probably
it.
worked out well. So.
Yeah.
Now you've got like I said, I don't know why I find this so interesting, but you've been doing the videos for quite a while, and you've got those old, I don't know if they're, what is that brand, Polaroid or the old 35? Is
Yep.
it?
It was we shot the music video Neighbor Boys on Ektachrome film. So
Okay.
old school 8mm film. And yeah, it was just a Yashica Super 8 camera that I got from Goodwill. And and it was like super cool. We shot it. It was all authentically shot on film,
Yep.
and then it was transferred to digital files. And yeah, it was awesome because the song Neighbor Boys featured the
Some of the
kids
neighborhoods,
that they asked me to write them the song Neighbor Boys, and then they ended up in the music video. So it's a cool little period piece too, because you know the youngest one was like, I don't know, 5 or 6 when we did that,
Yeah.
and now he's like graduating high school. So it's a cool little window into our past.
Yeah, I saw that at the place we're talking about with that pavilion, and yeah, I just remember it had that vintage kind of look. Uh, Kids riding bikes all over, having fun. There was like 2x4. I think they were walking on at one point, something like that.
Yeah.
So that's really cool.
Yeah, man, I had a lot of fun doing those videos, and I'm still doing them. Like the new album is gonna feature at least 2 more music videos that I haven't produced yet.
Okay.
So the first video that was released was done by this guy named Henry Reich, and after he did it, and like I saw the whole process of how it went down, I was like, I could do this. I was like, I could do this, and like then I would have like complete creative control of what I'm doing, and it would be like more affordable because paying somebody to direct and then another guy to shoot the music video.
Well, if you
is
have, yeah, if you have a vision, it's hard to communicate that vision so the other guy can do it.
Yes.
If you can do it yourself, well, you've got a lot of skills. I mean, you're handyman, you've got all sorts of stuff going on. So, talk to me about the new album and when it's coming out and kind of what it's about.
I don't have a solid release date yet. Actually, one of my to-do list things for today is to reach out to a few more record pressing plants to see like what their lead time is.
Yeah.
I'd like to get the album, like the actual physical album in my hand on vinyl by like the middle of summer, but I don't know if that's a practical want because all the record plants are like way behind in production because vinyl like has soared in popularity in like the last 5 years. So like all these pressing plants are like maximizing their production, you know, like the one that I typically use, I talked to last week and they were like, yeah, we can't take any more orders. So it's like, I mean, they're not hurting right now. You know?
Okay. Well, it's something at least.
Yeah.
Vinyl's cool. It's physical. I'm all about that kind of stuff.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. And you've got a number of videos. You wanted 5 music videos total, right?
How many I've produced, like as Crankshaft, or?
Oh no, for this new album.
Yeah, somewhere between I was thinking of doing 5 singles between now and when the album is released. It might be 3 now. I'm also kicking around the idea, and this is like a recent idea. We haven't even talked about this, you and I, but I'm kicking around the idea of only releasing the singles on digital format, and then the rest of the album in its entirety will only be available in physical format. So, kind of more like, what would you call that? Like an exclusive thing, you know what I mean? Like, sell them at shows and sell them on my website, but kind of make it more intimate for the fans that way. So it's not, like we were talking about, we're living in the day and age of like, so much content that it's kind of like diluting the value of things. And I think if I just release, you know, like a handful of singles digitally and have them like available for people to stream for free and on Spotify and all of the other streaming platforms, it will like allow for there to be ability to have new fans that discover that music organically, and then it will also like cater to my like core group of fans and give them something that's unique that the rest of the world doesn't get to have. You know what I mean?
Well, so your style of music is a good bit different. I would describe it, and I don't have quite the vocabulary. Like I don't know. I was going to ask, what is surf music?
So surf music is like, I guess the first band that comes to my mind is The Ventures, and it's like the biggest thing that like distinguishes surf music is like the beat. It's kind of like well, I'll just do it. It's like
Oh, okay.
it's got that
Okay.
But my brother and I were more like
Okay.
ripping fast, So yeah,
Okay.
surf music. Yeah.
Well, what your music reminds me of, and it's partly the way you sing, the way you play, the instruments involved. It's kind of like folk music, but newer. Um, and of course, you bring a lot of percussion in. You bring so a lot of energy. And
Thanks,
of course, well, yeah. And then of course you've got horns, you've got a brass section, all kinds of stuff going on.
Yep.
Some some effects that I couldn't identify that just sounded cool. I think you mentioned one with slide guitar. You've got all sorts of stuff going on.
Yep.
So I don't know what you call that, but it is unique. And this particular album, most of the songs are focused. I felt like a positive spin on things.
Yep.
And I know you're going through a change. You're going from Crankshaft to yourself.
Yep.
I guess what motivated you? 'Cause I know you were. I think it was a summer. I think you were writing most of these songs over, right?
Yep. Well, I started writing the body of music that is coming out in the beginning of 2019, and it was kind of like I kind of had like some writing block issues. Like, it's tough to write like 14 songs that
Yeah.
are all like unique and like authentic to myself, and also like content that or like subjects that I want to be putting out into the world. Because really, like every time, like okay, I was talking to this guy, right, and there's this like Alan Watts thing
Yeah.
where Alan Watts says, like it's almost inappropriate to call somebody by their name, because every time you're calling a person by their name, you're sculpting their existence, right? So there, and then I was talking about this at an open mic last week with this random guy, and I was talking to him exactly what we're talking about now, and he goes, "Yeah, it's like casting a spell." Okay, so
Okay.
the same thing is like when I'm out in the world and I'm like performing a song, I'm essentially just like sculpting like the scene, right?
Sure.
So like what I'm sculpting, like I want to be behind it like 110%. You know what I mean? And that's why I had to depart from Crankshaft, because like it wasn't like resonating with me anymore in
yeah.
my soul. You know what I
No.
mean? So to come up with a body of music that's like, all right, I'm behind this 100%. Like, I absolutely am cool with singing every word in this song. I agree with the big picture of this song.
Yeah.
Like, everything's cracking 100%. You know what I mean?
I do think you're onto something there. I mean, I remember it's probably in my 20s. I was talking to these young girls, and they were listening to like this rap music that was like real raunchy and like not very respectful towards women. And I was like, "Isn't that a problem?" And they're like, "Why would it be?" I'm like, I don't know. I feel like you get those words stuck in your head and you
Right.
repeat them. Like that's got to have an effect on you somewhere.
You would think, man. Yeah, I was just talking to somebody about that exact same thing. I was like, man, modern music is like pretty, like there's some really vulgar stuff, and I was like, I know that I'm aging myself by saying that. Like, or like maybe not aging myself.
I don't know if you take some of the vulgar ones as a sense of humor, that's one thing. But I don't know. You know, you're just like you might be at the club and just like dancing around, and it's just going into your brain. I don't know.
Yeah, I hear you. Yeah. Well, to like round all of that out, I guess is like, yeah, I want to be promoting positivity and relating to people about like issues of mental health and raw human emotion, man. Like, I feel like if I can connect to people like on a human level and sing about experiences that they might be having, it might be helpful for them to get through things too. You know what I mean?
Well, I know, especially with COVID and people being stuck indoors. I mean, there's a lot of mental health issues, but I also know several people that have struggled with various things, um, depression and worse, and all sorts of anxiety and all sorts of things.
Yep.
Um, I mean, I don't know if it's this modern world or we're just more aware of things now, but I think mental health is important. Do you want to talk about some mental health stuff or?
Yeah, man. I mean, I'm pretty much an open book, so anything that you are curious about, just ask me, I guess. Um, yeah, and whatever comes to your mind, man. I guess I've definitely had struggles with mental health. I've been diagnosed by with bipolar disorder, and yeah, man. I mean, I've been hospitalized for it like a lot of times, like over 10 times, somewhere between 10 and 15
Oh,
times.
really?
And
What's that like?
it's most of the time, like more often than not, when I've been into that position, I've been basically put into an EMT by police officers because it's clear to them that I can't manage my own life anymore.
Sure.
Which is like super frustrating, mostly because I have a lot of defiance issues with police officers, like, and I think that like being in a manic state of mind and like, I guess, like having heightened ego or whatever, just doesn't go along well with the way most police officers are wired, and they're like very authoritarian and like it just grinds, man. It's like a grinding situation. I guess like I've also gone into the hospital with like the help of family too.
Sure.
So it hasn't always been because the police are involved, but I guess the times that I remember, it's every time that I've gone in there, it's been tumultuous. Most times that I think every time that I've gone in there, it's some substance use or alcohol or whatever has been involved too. So, yeah, I've been sober and everything's like going really good for me right now. Like I'm on a antipsychotic and antidepressant.
Okay.
And you like having those two things like as propellant to like stabilize my mood backed with sobriety is like the key to the whole situation.
Yeah, and a lot of people might not realize how common that is. Like, there's a significant percentage of people that's on one or the other. So, I guess I don't have the percentage in front of me, but it's more than you'd think.
Yeah.
And I've been talking a lot about how much I didn't know back in my 20s a lot lately, but that was one of the things that I just didn't know. That was a whole other world. A lot of people struggle with this, that. Let me lighten the mood a little bit.
All right. I was like, we are getting pretty heavy here.
Well, I was driving you around a couple times, and then you asked if you could drive, and I'm like, sure. And then you got in the car. This one of your kind of like manic states. And,
oh boy, I don't
you were
even
like,
remember this, Josh.
oh no, so you were like, how fast could I drive? And I'm like, not even sure how to answer that. Yeah, you
It
were.
was your car?
Yeah, you got it going up pretty fast, and you were like, going down the middle lanes, this, that, and the other. But we both came out of it alive, so it was all good.
Jeez, I'm glad. That's crazy, man. I have no recollection of that.
Oh yeah.
Huh.
I don't know why I didn't have a car at the time, but it was a whole thing. But
Yeah.
yeah, you were trying to do a bunch of artwork and fix a bunch of stuff up, but you were kind of just all over the place. So
Yeah, it was tumultuous. Yeah. It's like, I'm glad that I'm not in that state of mind anymore.
well, it's all right. Let me get slightly more serious again, because a lot of people just don't know what happens if you check yourself in, say,
Oh, okay. So,
like how long are you there? What do they do?
you typically are there as long as the doctor thinks that your like mood is stabilized.
Yeah.
You meet with a doctor every day or every few days. You're on the floor, so they're observing your behavior all the time. There's like a common area where they're like where you eat and like where you play cards and like um, you know they supply like notebook paper and books and whatever, and then you can use that space as like that type of stuff or like talking with people or playing board games or whatever. But it's like it's a weird environment because it's kind of like they don't put all the people that are bipolar manic in one area of the mental hospital. It's like this person has depression, this person's manic bipolar, this person's borderline personality disorder.
Yeah.
It's like there's a lot going on in that situation. And man, my hat goes off to people that work in mental health because they have to like you have to have so much patience to do that and like empathy towards people. It's
Yeah.
like incredible the like situations that they put themselves in
Yeah.
for their career.
Right.
It's just like mind blowing, and uh, they're doing that, and some of them aren't even making a lot of money doing that. Like the aides and the techs and stuff like that.
Yeah,
They're
that's a
doing it
shame.
because it's their passion. And it's like without people like that, I don't even know where I would be at this point in my life.
So I don't know this. So do you have like most of the day just free time at one of these places?
Oh, like a hospital
Yeah.
situation?
Yeah.
There are times during the day where it depends on the hospital. Like, I don't think I should name hospitals.
No.
But
Yeah.
there's one of the hospitals is like in the Twin Cities area is like I don't even know what the point of it is. Like all it is the common area, and that's pretty much it. And then they have like what they call OT, but it's like basically arts and crafts is what it is. You
Okay.
know what I mean? And then
So that place just kind of keeps you busy and watches you for a while.
yeah, basically it's like they wait for the meds to like. In my case, I have bipolar disorder, and I lean on the manic side. So what happens is my the dopamine levels in my brain are like skyrocketing when I go in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So what they do is they give you antipsychotics to like basically close off your dopamine receptors in your brain.
Okay.
And then as
that takes a while to kind of build up.
correct, it takes a while for the drug to build up, and then it takes a while for after those dopamine receptors have closed themselves off for your brain to even start rewiring itself because you've been in this like state of hyperactivity for I don't even know how long.
Mm-hmm.
Like it depends on the person, but for me, I've gone through times where it ramps up across months or like across weeks or I don't, it's like it's all weird. I don't know what else to say
Well,
about
I had
it.
to ask about some of this. I've been, I know you rarely, if ever, watch TV, and I'm not really a TV guy, but my buddy and roommate got me into watching a variety of shows. That's probably just to hang out. we were watching Legion, which is the premise is that they've got these people in a mental hospital, but the main characters actually have superpowers, and they're like this kind of evil quasi government folks that are keeping an eye on him and trying to convince him that he doesn't have superpowers because they're afraid something will happen. They end up escaping, and then I mean not to spoil it, but then they like go to a different mental hospital, but it's like all some fake reality. There's all sorts of stuff going on there, but yeah, I mean, what is reality?
Yeah, I mean, we're all just trying to get through it together, basically.
But I mean, those were the only images I had. I mean, TV is a weird thing, especially. For a long time, it was the only way that people saw other countries, politicians, celebrities, and
Yeah,
you know, aside from maybe a picture in a newspaper. And so, in a way, TV and pictures and that sort of thing kind of shapes our reality in the same way that what we speak and what we hear does.
yep,
Anyway, that's the way I viewed it. And certainly I wouldn't have an image otherwise. I doubt it's highly accurate, but watching stuff on this TV show, I mean that puts the image there.
yeah, totally. Well, I'm sure that they use like they source like mental hospitals for like stuff like that, or
Yeah.
like talk to people that have been through that type of thing.
I don't know. This particular one, they had a lot of wacky, surreal stuff going on. They had a desk where you'd pick up your pills with a big like fluorescent light or some kind of light that looked like a giant pill. So it's more like Beetlejuice than something I'm sure that was real. But the rooms probably were fairly accurate.
I've gone through states of mind where like that would be like what I was
Reasonable,
thinking, too.
yeah.
You know, like having like delusions of grandeur and or paranoia, backed with like I said earlier, like a lot of dopamine in my like brain chemistry or whatever. You know, like it does weird things to your psyche. You know.
Yeah.
I don't typically like talking about war stories, but there's one thing that came to mind earlier, and I was like totally convinced that there were like sharpshooters like outside that
Yeah.
wanted to like kill me.
Right.
So I took the mattress off the bed, and they had me in my own room, and like that's enough said to where I was in my own state of mind, because most of the rooms were like cohabitable or whatever, but I was in my own room because they were like, whoa, this guy's like way out there. Anyway, I took my mattress off of my bed and I slept on the floor with like using the frame of the bed. It was like a wood frame.
Yeah. It's like
as
covered.
like a bunker, you know, like yeah, it's weird, like what the mind can do, and like I'm glad that I'm not there right now. That's the long and the short of it.
Well, kind of circling back around, I think it's really cool, and I know you were into music and it was down in your bones, but you're talking about it coming from almost like a spiritual place or a spiritual place. I think that's really cool. I mean, I don't know, I'm big on vocations and things like this, and I really think that people need a job or professional career or whatever that like all parts of them can feel good about. Like, I think if you were an old-time farmer, you're getting your hands dirty, maybe you kill the poor little animals, but then it's like this respect thing, or if you're a hunter, and you're going out and you're getting the animals that you had to like find and hunt and know the environment, where the creature's likely to be, and, you might have to fight off wolves and a bear and who knows what. It's like a physical struggle. And I mean, there's a reason that old tribal cultures were very, they felt spiritually at one with nature.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I don't know, I know there are people that they're like transhumanists and they just about worship technology, and that's great for them. But that's not good for everybody. I don't know. It's sort of a modern struggle to have a job, that's spiritual that they can really connect to. So
Yeah, totally. Yeah, hearing you talk about that reminded me that I got to go out and like go for walks again, man. It's been so cold here lately.
well, you convinced me to get some activity for a walk. I think yesterday, but yeah, like 3 days ago. We're here in Minnesota. It's I don't know. The weather said it was going to be 12. I think it was a lot colder than that. And I put on my hat and gloves. It was really windy. And I got about 50 feet. And I'm like, no, man, no, we're not doing that.
Yeah, totally. It was nice yesterday. I didn't take advantage of it. I wish that I would have, but yeah, I think today is a good day to go out and go for like an hour long walk. It is good to get back and like disconnect from technology and like focus on just what's going on inside of your psyche, you know, like just walking is like therapeutic because you're thinking out all the things that are going on in your life, you know what I mean? It's like time to use your um it's almost like idle time to like allow your brain to process information.
I think it was the Buddhist that said there was like sitting meditation and there's like standing meditation and like different like yoga poses and things like that. But walking was one of the main types of meditation. And like that was a big thing with the Greeks. A lot of times when they would have these back and forths with Socrates and Plato and these sorts of folks, they would do it in these pavilions often. But a lot of times it would be two guys walking and talking. But I feel like there's something with walking. All right, so like you mentioned, Alan Watts and that kind of Buddhism. He talks about I think it's him, talks about the monkey mind, which is that part of your brain that just comes up with random stuff and distracts you. That part needs to have a little something to do, and I think walking, especially when there's nature around, helps that. And I also like me. I'm a big river guy. I like the rivers down here in the water. Um, but yeah, walking by the river and maybe sitting down for a while. There's something about the rhythm and the movement of the water, maybe the wind in the trees and different things like that. It's a different rhythm than you know the manic and sometimes very dull modern techno whatever it is that we're living in right now.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I couldn't agree more, man. The river is like any body of water is therapeutic to be near. Rivers are interesting because they move, you know. And
Right.
if you think about like aside from the freeway, I guess there's not like a lot of stuff that's like or like a train track. I don't know if people like wait for trains to come by and if that's like therapeutic for them or not, but the thing that I'm thinking of
There's
is
a very small community of train watchers,
yeah.
train spotters,
Okay.
which is a thing. Yeah.
Okay. So the thing that I find interesting about rivers is that that's a lot of mass that is flowing in one
Right.
direction. You know what I mean? That has to like, and we're made out of water mostly. You know, it's like 70% or whatever.
Well, there's basically no resistance on maybe a little bit at the edges, but yeah, all that water is moving and it's just in its little groove.
Right. Totally. Which is cool, and it's all, you know, like if you think about it from like a molecular thing, you know,
Right.
all of that energy is flowing in the same direction, and it's a lot of mass too.
Yeah.
It's a lot of mass. If you're talking about the Mississippi, which is like what 5 blocks from here,
Yeah.
like that is a lot of water moving in one way, man. Just weight. Think about how much weight is just moving in a
Right.
direction. It's crazy.
Well, I guess that's what I had for questions. Did you want to do a shout out or?
Yeah, I wanna shout out to Jonah, and I think you should interview him next.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, man. He's got a lot going on. He's into running, and he's got a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Might do that.
He's remodeling his house too.
And see.
The guy's a machine, man.
I gotta go back there for pizzas. You better.
Yeah, we do need to go back.
It's
to
just it's just like this casual pizza chef, like the pro ovens and everything else.
Yeah,
I might
totally.
do that. I might do that.
Yeah.
Oh, let's cut it.